Let's go.
You got it, continue to work again like that.
It's playing in pro-ams right now.
I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I'm a big fan of Caitlyn Clark, obviously, being a women's sport, and there's not a lot that this young woman cannot do. This is her second shot into the par 4 30.
The whole story erupted when Caitlyn Clark stepped into the RSM Classic expecting nothing more than a fun challenge. But the moment she showed up, everything shifted. Crowds formed around her before she even picked up a club. Fans who had barely followed the WNBA suddenly knew her name. Parents whispered to their kids that she was the one hitting those impossible three-pointers. And the energy around her felt bigger than the event itself. She wasn't just joining a pro-am for kicks. She was becoming the center of attention in a place no one expected. And that sudden spotlight is what sparked a wave of reactions that nobody saw coming, including what some insiders claimed was a quiet but clear warning from the WNBA Commissioner to refocus her image on basketball before the league lost control of the narrative. Nothing official was ever announced, but the conversation spread fast and fans went wild. What made everything even more intense was how effortlessly she fit in. When she walked up to tee off with Ryder Cup captain Zach Johnson and PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan, she wasn't treated like a guest athlete. She was treated like she belonged there. Her 270-yard drives weren't flukes. They were a statement. Every time she connected with the ball, the crowd let out this mix of disbelief and excitement. And even when her opening shot splashed into the water, she just laughed it off, regrouped, and went right back to showcasing the kind of calm confidence that made her a star in the first place. People weren't just impressed by her skill, they were drawn to how she carried herself. But while the golf world embraced her like a rising crossover icon, the silence from the WNBA was loud. No congratulatory posts, no quick shoutouts, not even a tiny acknowledgement on social media. Fans kept waiting for something, but nothing came. And that's when speculation really kicked in. Some reports online claimed the league wasn't thrilled about Caitlyn pulling headlines away from basketball during the offseason, especially in a sport that wasn't part of their brand strategy. Other rumors suggested Commissioner Kathy Engelbert had privately advised her to be careful about overshadowing the league's messaging. None of this was confirmed, and it stayed in that gray area where nobody knows what's real, but everyone keeps talking about it, and the lack of clarity only made the situation feel more intense. The tension didn't stop with silence. A handful of vague tweets and comments started appearing from accounts connected to WNBA players. Things like "stay in your lane" or "funny how some people get all the hype." Nobody mentioned names, but the timing was way too specific to ignore. Fans instantly connected the dots. Some saw jealousy, others saw insecurity, but the divide only grew deeper. Caitlyn's supporters argued she was bringing massive attention to the league by reaching new audiences. Critics insisted she was hogging the spotlight and drifting away from her responsibilities, and the whole conversation became a battleground between excitement and resentment. Meanwhile, golf legends were putting her on a pedestal. Jay Monahan called her transcendent, a word rarely used even for rising PGA stars. Zach Johnson talked about her focus and humility, praising how she treated every moment like it mattered. Kids lined up for autographs. Parents thanked her for being a positive role model. Even Johnson's daughter asked for a picture. It wasn't just admiration, it was a warm welcome from an entirely new community. Caitlyn wasn't trying to dominate golf, but somehow she made more noise there in one weekend than the WNBA had managed to make all season. That contrast, adoration from golf, hesitation from her own league, was impossible to ignore. Fans wondered how the WNBA could stay silent while one of its biggest names was out there crossing worlds, inspiring young players, and drawing attention to women's sports in general. Some argued that the league should have promoted her like crazy, using her crossover appeal to bring more eyes to basketball. Others believed the league was afraid that Caitlyn's individual success was outpacing what they could control. Whether any of that was true or just fan speculation, the frustration grew, and then came the comment that really pushed things over the edge. One well-known WNBA player tweeted that people were hyping mediocrity just because they like her personality, and it was obvious who that was aimed at. Golf fans immediately fired back, pointing out how calm and composed she was, how naturally she interacted with crowds, and how she handled pressure with a maturity that most athletes don't develop for years. In their eyes, Caitlyn wasn't just good, she was refreshing. What made all the backlash even stranger was Caitlyn's response. She didn't clap back, she didn't throw shade. She didn't even hint at frustration. In her interviews, she smiled and described golf as an escape, something she did for joy. She said she just liked competing, challenging herself, and growing through experiences. Her grace under pressure made the criticism look even more unnecessary, and that only fueled more support from fans. She wasn't feeding the drama, she was simply being herself, and that authenticity became her greatest strength. Families at the RSM Classic waited in long lines just to talk to her for a few seconds. Young girls told her she inspired them. Golf enthusiasts admitted they were watching WNBA highlights for the first time because of her. Her crossover impact was undeniable. She wasn't chasing attention, attention was finding her. As her popularity skyrocketed, the rumored warning from the WNBA Commissioner became a talking point online. Some fans claimed it was just about image management, others believed it was a sign of deeper politics inside the league. But without any official statement, it remained speculation, fuel for debate and frustration. The only clear thing was that the fans weren't happy. They wanted the league to celebrate her, not distance itself from her. All of this left people wondering what comes next. Will the WNBA finally embrace the attention she brings? Will the league shift its marketing approach to highlight her impact instead of letting others drag her down? Or will the tension continue to simmer until it becomes impossible to ignore? On the golf side, people are already whispering about future appearances, maybe even more high-profile tournaments. Whether or not that ever happens, the excitement is undeniable. What nobody can deny is that Caitlyn Clark is carving her own path. She isn't forcing anyone to follow her. She isn't demanding praise or spotlight. She's just doing what she loves and letting her talent speak. And ironically, the more some people try to downplay her success, the bigger she becomes. The silence from the WNBA didn't slow her down. It made her fan base louder. The subtle jabs didn't undermine her. They highlighted her character, and the rumors about internal warnings only made fans more invested in her story. Caitlyn may not be trying to start a movement, but she's become the center of one. She's proving that athletes don't have to stay inside a single lane, that passion can cross into new territories, and that talent finds its audience no matter who tries to control the narrative. Whether she's draining deep threes or blasting drives down a fairway, people are watching. And now, more than ever, they're asking the same question. Why isn't her own league standing beside her? One thing is certain, Caitlyn Clark isn't waiting for approval. She's moving forward, growing her influence, expanding her reach, and showing what happens when someone refuses to shrink themselves to make others comfortable. The world is paying attention, and at this point, not even silence can stop it. The ripple effect of her appearance at the RSM Classic didn't fade when the tournament ended. It grew. Within days, highlight clips of her swing spread across social media, pulling in millions of views from people who didn't even watch golf. Analysts on sports talk shows started debating whether her crossover appeal was bigger than the WNBA had prepared for. Some even suggested she might unintentionally expose how poorly the league markets its stars, because she managed to attract more buzz in a single weekend than the league often does during a regular season stretch. The conversation wasn't just about her talent anymore. It was about what her rising influence revealed. Amid all this noise, fans continued calling out the WNBA for staying quiet. They pointed out how other major leagues hype their stars whenever they try something new. MLB celebrates players who cross over into celebrity events. The NFL praises athletes who step into other competitive arenas. And even the NBA loves when its players explore new passions. But when Caitlyn did it, her league acted like nothing happened. That contrast didn't sit well with people. Comment sections were filled with frustration, with supporters saying the WNBA should want their players to shine in every space possible. If anything, fans argued, Caitlyn's appearance should have been used to draw new eyes to the league instead of being treated like a distraction. Behind the scenes, rumors kept swirling. Some insiders claimed certain players were uncomfortable with the idea that Caitlyn was becoming the face of the league so quickly. Others said the league was afraid of relying too heavily on one star, especially one still early in her career. Whether or not any of that was true, the speculation added fuel to a narrative that the league was struggling to balance internal dynamics with public momentum. And while the WNBA tried to stay out of the conversation, the silence only magnified the drama happening around them. Meanwhile, Caitlyn just kept rising. Every interview she gave showed the same calm, grounded perspective that fans loved. She talked about improving, having fun, and pushing herself. Not fame, not attention, not drama. That attitude only strengthened her image. She wasn't chasing a story. The story was chasing her. And with every appearance, every highlight clip, every viral moment, the divide between how how the golf community embraced her and how her own league reacted became more glaring. At this point, her influence has gone far beyond any single sport, and whether the WNBA chooses to stand beside her or not, her path is already expanding into something much bigger than anyone expected.